Hi, please explain how to deal with women drama in a relationship. What kind of drama? Many red piles says that the oak tree and calm down, be the oak tree and calm down her emotional storms. Can you explain how to be the oak tree in a relationship? You have to be indifferent to her emotional outbursts. Gosh, I got an idea. Hold on a second. That gives me an idea. I have a, you know what? I'm gonna answer your question here. In fact, I'm not gonna answer it. I'm gonna have Hartiste answer it for you. Okay. Where is it? Okay, here it is. Hell, let's just show you this. I will share this with you. Just share screen. There we go. This is the 16 Commandments of Poon by Royce or Hartiste, whoever you want to call it. So there's 16 of these. You just reminded me of this. Don't play by her rules, which is right here. Okay. If you allow a woman to make the rules, she will resent you with a seething contempt even a cannot inspire. The strongest woman and the most strident feminists want to be led by and submit to a more powerful man. Polarity is the core of a healthy, loving relationship. And by the way, I live by that rule. She doesn't want the prerogative to walk all over you with her capricious demands and mercurial moods. Her emotions are a hurricane, her soul a saboteur. Think of yourself as a bulwark against her tempest. When she grasps for a pillar to steady herself against the whipping winds or yearns for an authority figure to foil her worst instincts, it is you who has to be there, strong, solid, and unshakable and immovable. So don't play by her rules. Understand that when she has emotional outbursts, you are the one who is indifferent to those emotional outbursts. You are the lighthouse in the storm, my friend. So be the guy who is immune to those emotional outbursts. That's really hard for a lot of guys because they want a good segue here. Most guys want to be that emotional dude. They want to be the guy who's like, oh, it's okay, baby. Come over here. I'll take care of you, blah, 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 blah. The minute you start doing that, that's when you're rewarding that behavior. Stop rewarding that behavior. And that's hard to do. And can you do this? This is a good question. Can you be in the presence of a woman who is crying and pissed off and upset and everything and not try to console her and not try to like, oh, come here, baby. It's okay. Because that is a very, very strong instinct in guys. If a woman cries, men like instinctively want to console that woman and say, that's okay. Don't worry about blah, 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 blah. If a guy cries, it's like, stop being a bitch. Stop being a little pussy, right? That's, man up, sack up, take it on the chin, man, fucking rub some dirt in it, right? That's pretty much the recipe for guys who are having a rough time, right? Hey, come here, I'll give you bring it in, right? Maybe, right? But for women, if a woman is crying, it's like a child, it's like a baby. Oh, we gotta keep the baby from from crying. What's wrong? What do we gotta do? We gotta change the diaper. We gotta give it milk. It's the same thing for when I mentioned this in the Big Head Babies article. It's in my 4th book, but it's also an article I've written. The idea, like when Myron said this, I've said this on several occasions, but we've said that like women are like children, right? And I don't mean that as an insult, and I don't mean that as like, oh, women are infantile or like women take that the wrong way, right? No, it's because on an instinctual level, men look at women in the same terms as children, okay? Meaning that they're still delicate, they're still vulnerable, they need protection, right? They need to have the same, or at least a margin of the same kind of attention that a child would need. And not that, oh, they're stupid and they're emotional and they're just dumb children. That's what people take it as. But in an evolutionary sense, men are the ones who have to be the protectors, right? Because women are the vulnerable sex. So how do you get men to protect that vulnerable sex? You imbue that woman with a little bit of that childishness that the children have too, because the children are very delicate and even more vulnerable. So the woman has to protect the child, the man has to protect the child and the woman. And so how do you get him to do that? Well, you have to imbue that woman with a little bit of childish, I don't say childishness, but like qualities, right? And so that's why it seems like women are just like, oh, they're just stupid children. I don't know. That was never come out of my mouth. But men see women in part or in just characteristically as children, because if they didn't, they wouldn't rush to their aid if they were crying or if there was something wrong with them or they want to try to make something better. And in fact, sometimes that pisses women off because like it makes a guy seem like he's super clingy, right? If a guy, oh wait, it's okay, baby, oh I'm right here, you know, like I'm here to help, you know. When what they really need is they just need a guy to like hang on to and cling on to in the storm, right? So don't think that the red pill thinks of women as quote unquote children. I mean, I'm not going to speak for Myron and the rest of these guys, but I will speak for myself. From an evolutionary perspective, men have always had to view women as if, in part, partially, as if they are children, because that is what inspires them and motivates them to protect them. So there you go. Trying to explain that shit. Like I love having to explain these things over and over and over again, because it seems like some of the stuff that seem like red pill idioms seem very offensive, and they seem like, oh, well, women are property. No, I didn't say they're property, but there still has to be there has to be a leadership structure. When we talk about like patriarchy, we talk about like, men need to lead in the family and stuff like that. So it doesn't mean you have to be a slave. It just means that there has to be if there's a leader, there has to be a subordinate. That's how it works. Because if not, you go, oh, we're gonna be equal. We're gonna be a yin and a yang. Then we're not in a hierarchy. Then nobody gets to lead. You know, if what's funny is this is like men need to lead in the relationship, but we want to have it 50-50. Okay, well, it's got to be one or the other. But the thing is like if that's the case, who's leading? Is anybody leading in the relationship? If it's 50-50, who gets the responsibility? It's usually the woman that has to sort of make up for the fact that if a guy is 50% of it, she's 50%, he's not going to be the guy that she can look up to. He's not going to be the guy that is going to be able to protect her. And so if that's the case, there's a vacuum, and that woman has to step into that vacuum and provide that security for herself. And that's why she resents that guy. He's not leading. You won't let him. You want everything to be 50-50. It's this like negative feedback loop. Anyways. Yeah, women want a submissive alpha. No, they want, you know what they want? I've heard this. I wrote about this. Women want a beta with a side of alpha. They want a guy to be a beta. They want him to be sweet and nice and well, everything that Scott Galloway seems to think women find attractive. He's got to be, emotional, and he's got to be generous, and he's got to be kind and all this like